Hey, video editing Rachel here with a little amuse-bouche before my next little video on shipping on the platform Mercari.
Sounds like fun.
2 weeks ago, I recorded a video and I've been like cutting it down into smaller bites because it's taking me too long to edit. But within the last 2 weeks of me recording those videos, um, the economy has kind of done some crazy stuff. There have been some tariff policies that have been implemented. They have affected the economy, not only in the US, but globally. The stock market has gone down. That is not a personal opinion. People have opinions about it, and I understand that it is political, but it has in the last week affected my business. It possibly could be from, being busy and trying to play catch up from a month of doing a lot of things that were artistically related, like some concerts and teaching gigs and stuff like that. Very possible. But I do think that at least with what I'm seeing on YouTube or what the algorithm is showing me in regards to resellers on YouTube in this last week, there has been a lot of talk about how slow sales are a personal responsibility and a you problem.
Whatever it is, it's your problem.
And while I do believe in personal responsibility, I do think taking into account what is going on with the economy is very important. And if, I want to sustain my business, then I have to look at all the facts that are going on and adjust accordingly. And I think there's not enough being said from the reseller space about how much the economy will affect sales. I just think that it's important to look at the fact that just in my sphere, I am an artist, so I know a lot of other like minded artists. My boyfriend works in the tech space. Um, I know people in the healthcare industry. I know people in big, apparel brands. Um, and there, before the tariffs were announced on Thursday, there were already layoffs being implemented. Not to mention the fact that the federal government has imposed a lot of layoffs. And so, if people are losing jobs, and then I have friends like at Starbucks and stuff who are getting their hours cut because not as many people are going in for coffee, then basically what starts to happen is that people have less money to purchase things. There are many resellers, especially on YouTube, who were reselling during the recession and did quite well. And will always be a space. And I'm glad because I want to save as many things from the landfill as possible. I can't do it myself. I'm one person. So the more people are able to either sell their own things that they maybe do not want anymore, but then can send that off to another home and make some money, or maybe you just want to, buy something from a garage sale and make some money so that you can pay your bills. Um, I think there needs to be a space for that.
Want to watch me pay my cable bill?
I also think that when people have less money to spend, things like eBay then kind of get put on the back burner. And just as an example, and again, it's one example from one person in one area of the United States, so take it with a grain of salt. I personally purchase on eBay. I have not been purchasing. I have been nervous about the way the economy is going, and so I've held off. And I know quite a few people who purchase on these platforms, and I know that they are also holding off because there is a little bit of uncertainty. I am already a little nervous about a couple of jobs that I have lined up because, if the economy starts going south, entertainment is one of the first things that always gets hit. I also think that um, it is going to be more difficult because things that I sell on eBay, either stuff that I've saved from the landfill or stuff like from my mom, who unfortunately passed away last year, and we've kept the things that were important to us, and now we want some of her things to go on to a better place and to be loved and cherished by other people. Like, those things are not necessary to survive. But if I do not take into account that the economy is, you know, having issues,
issues.
or possibly might have issues in the future, as a lot of experts are saying, then I'm not setting myself up for any kind of success. And that is the only thing that I have control over. Maybe it might piss people off, but I think that it's important, because if somebody is starting to resell and then they're just looking at it and somebody's telling them that it's their own responsibility,
It's your fault.
if things sell, and they could be working their butt off and have the best price and the best item and have it promoted at like 50%. And if people don't have money to buy it, people aren't going to buy it. So why, do that when you can look at the information that is presented and then adjust accordingly? But again, I'm an actor, so anyways, as always, everything that you see is thrifted. My name is Rachel. I am an artist. I am a reseller. I am somebody who's trying to save things from the landfill because I believe in sustainability, and I believe there are so many things headed to that landfill that could have a second life. So that's what I'm trying to do. Thank you for watching. If anybody watches these videos, I appreciate it.
Carpe diem.
Finally.
Let's talk about our second company, which is, I think, the second easiest to figure out in regards to shipping, and it's Mercari. Now, Mercari is a Japanese e-commerce company. It was founded in 2013. If you watch videos, there are a lot of different opinions about Mercari. Some people absolutely hate it. Some people are okay with it. I will say personally, provides the least amount of revenue from all three platforms. And they also have changed their terms and conditions in regards to fee structures and all this other junk so many times. I think they're just trying to figure out their footing, which can be frustrating, because just when you think you've got it figured out, then suddenly, just kidding, we've completely changed it. Last year they had at one point they had 0 selling fees, but there was a $2 charge to deposit the money that you had made into your account. Now, the last couple times that $2 fee has been waived, but now I have fees back. So anyways, Mercari is a very interesting beast.
Here, that's interesting. Of course, it's gibberish, but it's interesting nonetheless.
So Mercari has 2 ways to ship. The first way is that you can click that shipping is free. Again, no such thing as free shipping, but shipping is free for the buyer, and then you provide the label, which then I would have you fast forward to the whole eBay section so that you can see how to create a label. The other way you can do it is to provide a prepaid label, which is basically you enter in weight and Mercari generates a label that would be created for you, and then you can go ahead and download that and print it out.
Yeah. Oh, it's super easy.
So here's the caveat. A lot of people that I have seen will just create their own label and just do free shipping. But if you look on the Mercari terms of service page, when it comes to shipping, it can get a little tricky. And I personally do prepaid labels, and this is why. If something is lost or damaged, Mercari covers you up to $200 and $20 for a first class envelope. That's great. Not only do you have protections, Mercari is also more likely to step in if something were to happen, especially if something gets lost or stolen through the post office. So making sure that things are as insured as possible is important to me. But basically, if you provide your own label through Mercari, you are on the hook if something happens. You are responsible. Now, if you purchase the label through a secondary site like Pirate Ship, then Pirate Ship has its own thing where they will insure the package. So there you go. There's pros and cons. For me personally, I kind of want to be as transparent as possible. Shipping is not free. And I will try, if I know something is going to cost a lot in shipping, I will try and amend the price so that it becomes more competitive. But like, I am not Amazon and I can't afford to be Amazon.
Amazon, of course!
But I will make sure that I try and be as transparent as possible. And as I mentioned in the last video, it's impossible to be like 100% accurate, but I try and do the best I can. And also, too, I think it's important for us all to be educated that shipping is actually a cost.
It costs what it costs.
But when the company pays for it, they are going to make sure that they make up for it in some other aspect. And sometimes those some other aspects are all those fun little like surprises that you see, like junk fees, or like with Amazon, there's like all this other stuff that goes on, right?
Yay.
Okay, so the pros of Mercari with shipping. You have more freedom with your packaging. They have a dimension limit, which, by the way, Poshmark does too. So it's important to look at those things. With Mercari, you can ship stuff that's pretty heavy. And they have some like really great, especially if it's over 5 pounds, they have some great rates with UPS and with FedEx. And you can choose UPS and FedEx. They will give you, basically you provide the information about what you think the package, especially will weigh. The dimensions aren't as important as long as you put in the weight of the package. So it's important to kind of know how much it weighs to begin with. And after a while, when you start reselling, you start to like kind of figure out how much stuff is gonna like approximately weigh. But it's a great thing to like have a digital scale and to weigh things. And basically, you just put in the weight and then it will show you the options that you have. And for anything over 5 pounds, FedEx and UPS are great. Mercari is able to get labels at a cheaper discount than I am, even on using like a secondary platform. And that's, I think, is a great pro because it's like you're dealing with one aspect of shipping, which is weight, and then you don't have to like worry about the other aspects, which can start to get tricky. When it comes to weight on Poshmark, you can ship anything up to 5 pounds. Now, you can still ship something up to 10 pounds. However, you have to start paying for it, and it can get really expensive over 5 pounds, which then again gets taken out of your profits. So it gets expensive fast. And then if it's over 10 pounds, you just can't ship it. They don't have that ability to provide a label for you. So it's kind of a good, like, okay, you've got Poshmark where you don't have to really worry unless it's over 5 pounds or incredibly huge about the shipping label. And then you have Mercari where you kind of have to worry about it like because of the weight, but you still have a lot more freedom in your labels. The con of Mercari is definitely that these prepaid labels that they send you are more expensive a lot of times, especially on the stuff that's like under a pound than I would get on a secondary platform. They have no idea which part of the country somebody is purchasing it from, so they just have the most expensive, just assuming that it's going to go the farthest. And if I am actually inputting a label, I know exactly where it's going to. And, you know, something that is literally being sent across the street is very different in cost than something that's going to New York, which is all the way across country. So they can be, especially like when it comes to like smaller stuff, like especially if it's under a pound, I always think that for the best deal for somebody who's buying from me personally, the best deal is on eBay because I can get the better label. Anything once it gets over a pound or it starts to get a little bit bigger, Poshmark or Mercari, best ways, cheapest shipping for sure. So there we go. Mercari.
Okay, next up.
Hey, Ichabod. What do you think about eBay? You want to talk about eBay shipping? Are you going to conquer that eBay shipping like you did that mouse? You want to tweet?